Las Vegas is globally recognized for its neon glow and public indulgence, but the most terrifying acts of violence rarely happen out in the open. They happen in quiet, suburban living rooms. Psychological horror lives in the familiar. It is a predator gestating in a bedroom down a quiet hallway, hiding behind a trusted face. Daniel Halseth was an IT professional and a deeply devoted father. He spent years trying to create a stable, safe environment for his 3 children, focusing a massive amount of his energy on his youngest, his 16-year-old daughter, Sierra. Daniel considered Sierra his primary responsibility, frequently calling her his little angel. He organized his entire life around ensuring she had a secure home to return to. To understand Daniel's vulnerability, you have to look at his history. Years earlier, when his then-wife Elizabeth decided to pursue high-profile political aspirations, Daniel gladly stepped back. He ran his computer business late at night so he could be the primary parent for their 3 children during the day. Despite making those sacrifices, their marriage eventually collapsed into a bitter, highly public divorce. Because of a complicated legal fallout, Daniel lost custody of all 3 children. His ex-wife moved them entirely out of state to Alaska. Daniel fought relentlessly for years to get them back. When the children finally returned to Nevada, Sierra essentially moved in with him. Daniel went straight to court to fight for permanent custody, telling a judge that Sierra was struggling with mental health issues and desperately needed the professional therapy he had already enrolled her in. Then, Daniel discovered Sierra was secretly plotting to run away to Los Angeles with her new boyfriend, Aaron. Operating purely out of parental concern, Daniel reached out to Aaron's parents. Together, the adults set a strict boundary, forbidding the 2 teenagers from seeing each other. Daniel thought he was keeping his daughter safe from a reckless mistake. He had no idea this protective intervention was the trigger for a violent psychopathic shift. On the morning of April 8, 2021, an alert triggered on Daniel's bank account. Someone unexpectedly withdrew a large sum of cash. Over the next few hours, cameras captured Sierra and Aaron driving his car from ATM to ATM, rapidly draining his accounts. Their next stop was a local supermarket. Surveillance footage showed the teenagers calmly walking the aisles, purchasing disposable gloves, drop cloths, and heavy-duty bleach. From there, they drove to a Home Depot. The pair walked in and purchased a circular saw, extra saw blades, and lighter fluid. Sierra and Aaron were taking mundane teenage errands and methodically purchasing the architecture of a nightmare. Armed with their supplies, the teenagers returned to Daniel's house. He was inside, completely unaware his own daughter was unlocking the door to his murder. The ambush was immediate and devastating. Because Daniel felt perfectly safe in his own home, he had no reason to put up his guard. The 2 teenagers attacked him with pocket knives, inflicting up to 70 stab wounds, mostly to his back and head. With Daniel dead or incapacitated, the desecration continued. Sierra and Aaron attempted to dismember him using the circular saw and a chainsaw they found in the garage. When the tools failed, they abandoned the saws in the middle of the living room, leaving the blades clogged with physical evidence. They then tried scrubbing the house with the bleach, which proved entirely useless. Out of options, the couple stuffed Daniel's battered body into a sleeping bag. They doused it in lighter fluid right in the living room, lit the sleeping bag on fire, and fled in his car. Daniel had spent years fighting the courts to give Sierra a safe, loving sanctuary. In return, she physically butchered him and burned that exact sanctuary to the ground. 4 days later, police apprehended the teenagers on a public transit bus in Salt Lake City. They were caught simply because Aaron hadn't bothered to pay the bus fare. When investigators confiscated their belongings, they opened the teenagers' cell phones. What they found inside eliminated any lingering questions about why this happened. The couple had filmed a video of themselves shortly after fleeing Las Vegas. On camera, they are smiling and laughing. Aaron brags to the lens, "Welcome back to our YouTube channel, day 3 after murdering somebody." A moment later, he adds, "It was worth it." The footage captures the cold, calculated celebration of 2 killers. It shows a complete absence of remorse, a victory lap for an act they considered worth it. But the darkest element of this story requires looking back at the living room floor before the fire started. You have to ask what a parent actually sees when their child turns a knife on them. Given the nature of the attack, it's highly probable Daniel had at least a few conscious moments to recognize the face of his attacker. He was bleeding out on the floor of his own home, staring up at a cold-blooded killer wearing the face of the little angel he had fought so hard to save. The physical violence was brutal, but the ultimate horror was the realization that Daniel's boundless, unconditional love was exactly what left him defenseless.